is why I wear the helmet. So much better. Hello and welcome to NaNoWriMo Day 6. The word count goal for today is 10,000 words. Holy crap. We've broken into the double digits in the thousands. So technically, I guess, quintuple digits. But whatever, 10K, holy crap! Just think, later this month I will attempt to write that many words in just one day. Because I am insane. But seriously, 10K Tuesday, November 25th. I hope some of you guys join me. It's gonna be a lot of fun and crazy, but fun, crazy fun. But yeah, anyways, my word count is currently at 10,623 words. I'm back on track. A little bit ahead actually, and I'm feeling good about that. Since I didn't write at all the other day, I had been feeling kind of detached from my story, and I didn't like that. When I'm drafting, I like to be really immersed in the story, and even skipping one day kind of takes me out of the zone. So it did take a little while to really get into it again, but I'm into it again, and I'm loving it. And things are just peachy freaking keen right now for me. And I hope it stays that way, even though I know it won't. But I can hope, right? I can dream. Anyways, today I thought I would talk to you about what to do when you really don't know what to write next. Since yesterday I just kind of ranted at you for 5 minutes, I thought today I would give you some actual tips that might be actually helpful. I stand by what I said, you know, not feeling like writing is a crappy excuse to not write. But not knowing what to write is a legit dilemma you might encounter. It's one of the main reasons writers can feel blocked. Now this isn't a problem that I personally have to deal with very often. Before drafting, I spend a lot of time planning and plotting, so I normally know exactly where my story is going. However, this is a common problem for pantsers. The writers who just jump right in and write by the seat of their pants with no real plan or direction. So what do you do when you hit a dead end? Where do you go from there? Where do we go from here? Seriously, where do we go from here? I have 5 tips for you. Tip number 1, brainstorm a list of possibilities. Just make a list of every direction your story could go in, and I mean every direction, from the likely to the impossible. What would happen if your protagonist got exactly what they wanted? Or what is the worst possible thing that could happen to your protagonist? What's the happiest thing that could happen? What's the saddest thing that could happen? What's the most adorable thing that could happen? What would happen if you introduce a new element, like a new character or a zombie apocalypse? Use a writing prompt or a random generator to help you come up with these possibilities if you need to. I always recommend people check out the Nano Word Sprints Twitter, which I'll link below, because not only do they run word sprints all the livelong day, but they also throw out writing prompts with just about every sprint to kind of inspire you or give you something to write about. So yeah, just take 20 minutes or so and brainstorm a list of every possible direction your story could go in, and then take a look at that list and see if any of these directions like calls out to you and says, hey, I'm the right direction, write me. Tip number 2 is if you can't go straight ahead, then just jump around, write out of order, or maybe write some tangent or a backstory. You don't have to write what happens next. You just have to keep writing. And if you do go off on a tangent or start writing a backstory, you know, that might not make it into your story. It might just be like extra information for you, but even if it doesn't make it into your story, it's still helping your story become what it's trying to be. Like, you might go write a character backstory and something in there might trigger an idea of where your story is supposed to go next. Like, it's helpful. No matter what you're writing, as long as you're working on your story in some way, it's helpful. Tip number 3 is to write a very sketchy outline. And I know this is kind of going against the grain for some of you pantsers out there, like, you hate outlines, but I love outlines, so I'm kind of opinionated and biased about this, but it will help you. Like, I'm pretty sure it will probably help you, even if it's just a few bullet points of things that you kind of want to happen and maybe you don't know how they connect, but that can be like the fun pantsing part. Just even a brief, flimsy outline to guide you through the darkness into the light. It might help. I don't know. I recommend it. I love outlines. Tip number 4 is to backtrack, which might seem counterproductive. So when I say backtrack, I don't mean delete. I mean just back it up, you got it, go in a different direction. Back up, pretend like the last chapter didn't happen, and instead of going down that same route, go down a completely different path. And maybe that will free things up for you and take you in what turns out to be the right direction. And tip number 5 is to ask for help. Sometimes you just really need a fresh perspective. I feel like I talk about the NaNoWriMo forums a lot, but it's only because they are so wonderful. Go to the NaNoWriMo forums, okay? There's tons of threads. There's like a research thread and a plot doctoring thread and adoptables and dares. The forums. It's a gold mine of inspiration and motivation and help. If you don't want to use the forums, or maybe you tried and it wasn't really helpful, then just talk to actual humans in your life, or actual humans on the internet, any of your friends or family members, writers or non-writers. Get that outsider perspective. You know, we spend so much time in our stories so close that we might not always see the big picture. We might not always see the obvious answer sitting in front of our eyeballs, but that outsider who is not living in the story might. They might be like, hey, why don't you just have this happen? And bam, that happening was your solution. So yeah, basically all of these tips kind of boil down to the same thing, and that is figure out what your possibilities are and explore them. As long as you keep writing, as long as you are constantly learning about your story, you're good, okay? You're doing well. So yes, there you have it. Those are my tips for what to do when you don't know what to do. And that's everything I had for this video, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow with a new update video. Goodbye!